So I don't remember the names of who I was just talking to, but I was just talking to my boyfriend about our big flat Earth, globe Earth conversation. And he said, if the Earth is flat, why in every single outer space video the Earth is round? He said, I can go on. And I said, then go on and on. He said, if the Earth's flat, why don't we have daylight 24 hours?
Have you seen the 24-hour midnight sun?
Yeah, you do. You do have 24 hours on Earth. They went to Antarctica and they proved it. They proved 24 hours of complete daylight.
So
listen, listen. They demonstrated the flat Earth, like this last December. They said on the flat Earth you would have 24 hours of sunlight. Here's 24 hours of sunlight.
Okay, but that's down there. Why isn't it everywhere?
That's Earth.
Okay, but why isn't the sun? Why isn't the sun everywhere? Why does it disappear in some spots?
Okay, because the sun moves. The sun isn't a gigantic ball of fire 93 million miles away.
Say that again, sorry?
It's not a giant fusion reactor 93 million miles away. It's not 800,000 times the size of the Earth.
Okay.
So we only see the sun. It looks like it's a size, right? A half a degree. That's all we can see. Hey, how big's the sun? Well, it's about the size of a half a degree. That's it. That's all we can say. Okay? In the sun, what do you see it do? You see it move across the sky. Okay? You can't light up the whole Earth any more than one light bulb can light up an entire warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Right. I did post a photo. It's I think it was 7 p.m. something like that or more at summertime, and you see there the sun above the horizon, and it's getting darker. The place that I was, so yeah, even a single cloud can block the sunlight, and there was something going on in the air, that time. So yeah, it's getting darker, and the sun is going away.
And before we continue, let's keep in mind this is the same Kaitlin we just spoke to, and she's entirely chill. And she's not entirely aware of all of these other side arguments, so she needs proper context and decorum.
Just to let you guys know, I'm just gonna be so honest. I am a high school dropout, and I am absolutely fucking retarded. So I have no idea what we're talking about.
Pump the brakes. Did you know that both the Wright brothers were grade school dropouts? One of them finished grade 3rd, and the other one finished 5th grade. And they invented the airplane. Dropping out of school doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means the indoctrination system didn't fully work on you, or some other reason. Maybe you were psychopathic and violent and were harming other kids. Who knows? There's lots of reasons why. But one of them clearly isn't a lack of intelligence, because some of the brightest people humanity's ever produced said, fuck you, to some
Benjamin Franklin. Education. Benjamin Franklin got thrown out of school because they said he was retarded. And he has more patents than any other American.
Yeah, so don't let, if they say you have to complete this indoctrination program or you're stupid, no, quite the opposite.
Anyway, let's go back to your boyfriend said, hey, all the pictures of Earth from space show the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Well, how does he know that those are pictures of the Earth from space?
Hold on, let me ask.
Just get his bitch ass on mic. What the hell? Like, why is your girl talking for you?
Oh my god! He's at work right now. I'm not with him. He's not even supposed to be texting me, but I'm gonna get him on the mic later tonight. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Because I'm getting all this conversation.
Caitlin, so remember,
down boy.
Yeah.
So Caitlin, hold on. Remember me telling you that, like, you're gonna hear a lot of things, and they're gonna be like, if I ask somebody how they know the Earth's a globe, they're never gonna be able to say. They're always gonna say how somebody else knows the Earth's a globe, right? So your boyfriend said, "Hey, what about these pictures of Earth from space?" Well, how does he know they're pictures of Earth from space? Oh, because somebody said so, right? Someone claimed, hey, this is what Earth looks like from space. Look at this picture. and your boyfriend said, okay, I believe you. And that's it. He can't even evaluate it in any way, shape, or form because he's never seen the Earth from that point of view, right? So how can he even tell if it was real or fake in the first place? Like, say there's some species of animal that you've never heard of, right? You've never seen it, never heard of it, never saw a drawing, picture, it represents any form. And I said, look, here's a picture of a jackalope. And if you've never seen a jackalope, you would just have to accept at face value that that is a picture of a jackalope because you have no reference. But if you did have a reference, like a horse, right? You've seen a horse, right? Have you seen a horse in real life, in person?
Yeah.
So if I showed you a photograph of a horse, you'd be able to evaluate, like, yeah, that kind of looks like a horse that I saw. So that picture is probably real because it looks like a horse. But you can't even do that with Earth. You have no reference. You have no way to go, oh, this looks like the Earth I saw. You've never seen the Earth from that point of view, and neither is your boyfriend. He just has to trust that what they gave him was authentic. And he can't even test it. But here's the funny thing is, if I showed him a picture of Bigfoot, he wouldn't believe that. If I showed him a picture of Jesus walking on water, he wouldn't believe that. Right? So he doesn't actually have a standard of evidence. So when it comes to photographs, it's just like, oh, I want to believe this one, and I don't want to believe that one over there. And it's completely arbitrary and ad hoc how he's choosing which photographs to believe are authentic and which ones he chooses to not believe are authentic. Right? There's lots of photos of Santa. They can't all be fake, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. It would take a vast conspiracy of parents. Somebody surely would have told. So you can use all the same logic for Santa Claus and prove Santa Claus using the same quote unquote logical, but they're really irrational arguments. You could prove Santa. So lots of pictures of Santa. They can't all be fake. Everybody would have to be in on it, right? All the parents over decades and decades and decades. Well, fuck, dude, even that NORAD tracked Santa with satellites on Christmas, right?
Back to the satellites thing. We were talking about satellites, and like as we were talking about it, you guys mentioned satellites. I was trying to think of any sort of controversial topic about the whole flat Earth thing to bring up because this is a lot of fun.
Well, that's another faith-based idea, right?
Yeah.
It's faith-based. Yeah, there's shit in the sky. Everybody sees it. There's lots of things in the sky. Okay? Planes, drones, fucking whatever. Right? They had drones off the coast of New Jersey for fucking goddamn 4 months. They couldn't figure out what they were. But somehow some rando on the internet looks up at the sky and looks at the app and somehow knows that there's an ISS, International Space Station, 300 feet long, orbiting at 17,000 miles per hour. When the fucking whole federal government can't even figure out what couple of drones they're doing up on the coast of New Jersey. Like, it's craziness. But anyway, satellites, where they say they exist, can't exist. Because there's something called the second law of thermodynamics, right? So how do you have gas pressure? Well, I'll just put it really simply. How come all the gas on Earth that you're breathing right now, how come it doesn't fuck off into the vacuum of space?
Okay, hold on. Pause and let's take a step back here because going back to the whole dropout, what the fuck is a thermodynamic?
Thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics basically says hot goes to cold, right? High pressure goes to low pressure.
Okay.
That's it. That's literally it. So if you have a tire, you pump up to 15 pounds or 30 pounds of pressure, and you open up the tire, all the air is going to leak out until the tire inside is 15 pounds of pressure, and the air outside is 15 pounds of pressure. Tries to reach equilibrium. And the same with temperature, right? You pour a hot cup of coffee, right? Coffee will cool down, the room will heat up, right? And eventually they'll reach equilibrium where they're both the same temperature, and that's that. So how do you have this without a barrier? How come the air pressure on Earth isn't equalizing with the vacuum of space.
You see, this is where you got to learn the globe, right? You got to learn what they tell you. So
Would they tell me or what?
what the mainstream tells you.
Yeah, well, this is going to make me do a shit ton of research.
Yeah,
Well,
pop
the
the balloon.
Pardon?
Take over for me for a second, Jedi, if you can. She's
Yeah.
just to give you a background, she's a total noob, like day one noob, like never heard
Okay.
even participated in this conversation at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, pleased to meet you, my friend.
Hello. Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
So you understand what Injo's explaining to you, right? This
To a
law of
degree,
this law of nature that happens always. You notice that when he was pumping up the tire, the rubber was the thing that was keeping the gas in place. If you
Yeah.
don't have a barrier like a tire around the world, how do you keep the gas from following that law and dispersing into available volume? How does that happen?
So you're saying how does Earth and space have different what's the word I'm looking for?
Pressure.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, for example, you remember the tire, and the only thing that was keeping the gas there was the tire.
Yeah.
So you need a physical barrier to keep gas in place, or gas will disperse. So
Yeah.
this is why we have problems with satellites in the vacuum of space. Because if up there was a vacuum and down here we've got gas pressure, according to that law, if there's no physical barrier, the gas is going to continue to expand.
Okay. So
Go on.
If you're
I'm
confused,
I'm
let's go ahead.
I'm thinking I'm a little bit confused, but I'm trying to think and
That's
process.
okay.
So what would be the barrier then between the gas in the universe and our air down here?
Something physical. A physical barrier for gas to press against. Because
So
we have
there's just an invisible wall?
it has, yeah, something.
So
Too cool.
how did we get the satellites pushed beyond that wall then? And in that case, going back to a different topic, how did people get to the moon?
Right, so we'll start on that one. They didn't go to the moon if the moon is in a vacuum, and they left on a rocket through our atmosphere through no containment into a vacuum. That story can't be real. So no one's been to the moon if the moon's in a vacuum. Jupiter can't be an uncontained ball of gas in a vacuum. That's a violation of that law. Gases don't form shapes. They take the shape of that container.
Right, just like the tire. If you're inside of the tire, how do you get outside the tire?
That's fair.
Without all of the air dispersing through that supposed hole that they went through, because then we wouldn't be able to breathe because all the air would go into the vacuum of space.
So how did the wall get put there? What is the wall?
Okay, so how did the wall get put there? That's like asking the same question as how did the sun get put where it was? Why is the Earth the color that it is?
Yeah, there's certain things we don't know that are like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
We don't know what's in the sky. We've only been to a certain height, up, right, and we've only been to a certain distance down into the Earth, right. And there's a lot of claims on the globe side that they know, tectonic plates. They know the magma that's like way further down in the Earth that we've ever explored. So all these claims aren't provable. They're just stories. So that's me and Neil. I'm with Kaitlin right now.
So have you got any more questions about what we just spoke about?
Currently processing.
That's fine. It takes sometimes. This is how we know that every single story that they tell us about the vacuum of space cannot be real. You can't have satellites in the vacuum of space. You can't go on a rocket ship through a vacuum to the moon. Jupiter can't be an uncontained ball of gas. Mars, the Earth, Venus with atmospheres uncontained from a vacuum, yeah, that can't exist. According to the laws of nature that always happen, these situations are impossible. You cannot have gas pressure without a container.
So, I don't even know what to say. This is a lot of information.
Well, think about this. You don't have to respond right away. Take the information, new information, process it, and think about it. Contemplate it.
Yeah, that's why we left for a little bit, and then I got back in here. I got him to send me the link.
She was itching. I'm like, let's listen to some music for a minute. This is probably gonna frazzle in your brain. She's like, no, I want to join the server. I'm like, all right, frying your own brain.
A little bit, but it's also kind of fun.
That's one of our rules. One of our rules is if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Try again. Like, we get people in here who are extremely upset.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. He was like, well, you didn't yell.
She's doing a good job.
It's because I'm a very what I was telling Neil over here was I'm very big on like everybody's allowed to have their own opinions on things, and you don't ever necessarily have to agree with everybody's opinions. So I like listening to your guys' opinions.
Would you have to know what your opinion is before you disagree with it?
It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
See, they'll come in here, they'll tell you, Earth's not flat. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, how do you know it's not that if you don't even know what that even means? If someone says Earth is flat and you have no idea what they're talking about, how are you disagreeing with it?
We're not interested in opinions, are we?
Pardon?
It's interesting that you say that you're interested in other people's opinions. Let me try and give you an example. If I'm 6 foot tall and I measure myself with a tape measure to be 6 foot tall, do we need to have opinions about it?
No.
No, exactly. So that's an empirical truth, right? It's demonstrated through direct measurement. This law of nature that we were speaking about, it's a law of nature. It always happens without exception. Don't need to have an opinion about it, do we?
No.
Good. The Earth being measured to be a horizontal plane through direct measurement of the surface of the Earth, primarily water. Now that's a direct measurement of the surface of the Earth, demonstrating that it's flat. Don't need to have an opinion about it, do we?
No.
Okay, good. So as long as you understand that we're dealing with empirical truths, not subjective truths.
I mean, those are two words that are really big that I don't understand, but yeah.
So subjective and objective. You know the difference between the two types of truths, right?
Sure.
Good. So the apple is an apple. It displays the constituent parts of the apple. That's an objective truth. Whether you like the apple or not, the taste of it, that'll be a subjective truth. Right.
Okay.
Cool. So the measurement of the surface of the Earth. Objective truth or subjective truth?
It depends on a person's opinion, I guess. I don't know.
No. If I measure myself to be 6 foot, do I care about your opinion? I'm 6 foot. I've measured myself to be 6 foot. It doesn't matter if you like me being 6 foot or not. I'm still 6 foot. I'm not. I'm 5'8", but I digress.
Well, No, I mean, my opinion shouldn't matter to you if you're 6 foot or not.
You might want to verify that he's 6 feet,
Measure myself again.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's if I believe you or not.
Well, you can measure me.
If you look like you're roughly if you look like you're roughly 6 foot, then yeah, I'll believe you. But if you look like you're 5'6" and you're telling me you're 6 foot, yeah, I'm gonna want to see some proof.
Exactly. You're going to want to measure me yourself, right? Now, it's not going to be a subjective. This is going to be empirical. You're going to find out for yourself through direct measurement how much I measure. So it's objective. It's not subjective. Trust will come down to you wanting to prove one way or another, but it won't be opinion based. It'll be for the matter of fact. So when we say the Earth is measured flat, that's direct measurement. We don't need opinions. That's an objective truth. It's objectively measured flat.
So say he's measured 6 feet, and then you're like, bullshit. And then you measure him, and then he measures 6 feet to you. And then you're like, nah, I think he's 5'8" still, even though you measured him. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
Okay. Okay.
Good stuff.
Sure. At this point, I came in to this whole podcast thing. I hopped in this car this morning thinking I was a fucking round earther or globe earther, whatever we're calling it. And now at this point, I have no idea.
Well,
I don't know what to believe because you guys are all making good points, but at the same time, for the past 20 years of my life, I've been told and believed that the earth is round. But then again, you guys are making really good fucking points.
I was 38 years, so almost twice your age, right? Before I realised that the Earth was flat, I believed the same shit you did for 38 years. It takes a minute. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. I mean, for me too, because I have a lot of jingoism attached to it. You have a lot of national pride, like America landed on the moon. God bless America. And it took a lot of challenging my own identities and assumptions to even get to the point where is the globe even something you can question? And it finally got to the point where I was talking to flat earthers and like anti-flat earthers. The anti-flat earthers just didn't have an argument. It all boiled down to why would they lie? Minority opinions are stupid, and photographs from outer space. I'm like, that is not compelling evidence. Meanwhile, the flat earthers have measurements, observations, practical demonstrations for days. For days. I mean, virtually an unlimited amount of historical references, measurements, all kinds of talking points. Tons and tons of stuff. The best thing the Globe says is like, well, 60 years ago, some people took a photograph on their way to the moon. 60 years ago, really? 60. It's been 60 years already, or almost. I mean, not quite, but pretty close. 55, 56 years. You're like, come on already, get on with it.
Now you're just making me have questions like if they've done it once, why haven't they done it again?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, because that was Nixon. My take was Nixon leaves office, manned space flight abruptly ends. Nixon was known for being a very scrummy politician. Like, probably the worst of the worst. Like, it didn't get much worse than Nixon. So everything he did was all criminal in some manner, and the Apollo program was no different. It wasn't the exception. No, it wasn't the exception to the rule. It was exactly par for the course. It was just weapons testing. It was hiding Nazi war criminals inside the Department of Defense and having them develop weapons. That's all it was. That's all it ever was. And once they developed the weapons, they didn't even give a shit about faking it anymore.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I just don't really. There's been a lot of information put in my brain today. There's a lot to take in. So, I'm like.
You need a little break? Maybe come back in a bit? Or
Maybe, yeah. There's a lot to process before I can.
Yeah, she hasn't even got to the point where she asks, why would they lie? She hasn't even got there yet, so.
Oh, God. I haven't even thought about that.
Oh shit! Right, go on.
Where we going?
Come back later.
You know
Is that Neil in the background?
Yeah.
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 Let's see.
The first thing she asked when she came in though was, or what she said that that guy said was that all the images of the Earth are round. But the first thing I thought though was like, but you don't see anything going away from you like you would on the side of a ball. Like it just looks like a photograph from a high altitude, and it's still all flat. It doesn't make sense otherwise. You don't see
What do you
mountains
mean?
like
Do you mean because it's not like a 360-degree picture? You can just see a flat side of the Earth?
yeah, like let's say you took a camera and you pointed it straight to the ground. Like let's say you do like you put like I don't know, objects on the floor. They're still gonna be flat to your position looking down. Like it's not like if you put like a bunch of like toothpicks on a basketball and then took a photo and then you seeing things like angling away from you in all directions. You don't see it like that. You don't see like this ball like like bending away from your perspective. So like it would create like if you're looking at like like a half a dome, if you will. Like nothing's popping out at you in the center of that picture, and everything's falling away from you on the outer ends of it. Like look at every photo that they're talking about, and it's just you can tell it's taking a photo from a high altitude of a flat plane. There's nothing bulging out at you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no center that's higher than the rest of it, because technically that would be closer to you.
Now, she's Googling photos from space now, or photos of Earth. So
Bruh.
you gotta tell her about the CGI composites.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, there's more?
It's a rabbit hole. You might want to stop here and like catch a deep breath, listen to some music, and then
Get you a matcha.
Watch some fucking raccoon eggs and come back?
What?
What the fuck? Where do you live? Where does she live?
Nice.
We're on the West Coast.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Oh, did you feel the earthquake earlier? That was pretty fun, right?
Laying eggs out there?
That was wild.
Whoa,
I did feel that.
Way too many people talking at once. What?
I said, did you feel the earthquake earlier this morning? I woke up and I felt it.
I didn't know.
I didn't. What time was it at?
Just a couple hours ago.
No, if it was a couple hours, no, we would have been on the road. Holy shit.
10 o'clock.
Sorry. Yeah, no, we didn't feel that. But, no, I was standing in my kitchen once when there was like a 4.5 or something like that a couple weeks ago. I didn't. My dad was sitting 5 feet away from me and he's like, "Did you feel that?" I'm like, "No, but I heard the fucking air conditioner creak." But I haven't felt a single earthquake ever.
Yeah, it was down by San Diego. At first they said it was a 6.7, then they like brought it down to 5.2 or something like that.
Yeah, now we're Canada.
Oh, you're in the west coast of Canada. Okay.
I was on my balcony, bro. It rattled my whole door.
BC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was my first one, dude. That was crazy.
That was your first earthquake, bro? What?
Yeah, bro. Up on my balcony, dude. It shook my whole apartment.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm gonna take a deep breath and let all of this sink in, and we'll be back in a little bit.
All right.
Okay. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
W's in the chat.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Misogyny.
I'm starving.
How dare you?